Yeah, Nicole, within the last 10 minutes or so, we started hearing bangs here in Doha and pulled over the car and looked up in the sky, and you could see what almost for a second looked like fireworks, but clearly wasn't, being launched from the direction of where the States, the United States military base is here, which is the biggest military base the United States has in the Middle East. It appears to be some kind of missile defense system that was launching from the base, sort of going over the city of Doha. You could see these little just specks in the sky coming from the base, going up, and then traveling over the city in the direction of Iran. There was one or two of those bright specks in the sky that I saw going in the opposite direction, headed toward the U.S. base, right over downtown Doha, which is, I'm looking at it now, it's just this huge skyline of bright lights. And then you just see these little specks in the sky flying over the skyline. Most of them were coming from the military base, so we assume that it's, again, anti-defense systems trying to shoot down missiles that are incoming. But I did see at least two going in the direction of the military base, Nicole.
All right, so Brian, has there been any type of warning issue, maybe something that came through on your phone or any type of sirens that you've heard?
I haven't heard any sirens, and I haven't seen any of I'm assuming they're missiles, coming right for like the downtown area where I'm standing right now. They've sort of just been cruising right over the downtown, again, going away from the military base and then to the military base. We just flew in here, Nicole, and when we landed, probably it's been about 2 hours now, we learned that we were the last flight permitted to land at Doha Airport, and they had just immediately closed all the airspace, all the commercial air traffic, which is a big deal in Doha because this is a massive hub for the world with Qatar Airlines. They closed the whole airspace down. Everyone figured it out in the airport. All the flights were canceled. That was right after we flew in. So clearly the government here had some indication of what was about to happen, because then just a couple of hours later, again, we were driving in the city, and it sounded like fireworks. And we pulled over, and I got out, and you could see, again, just these flashes in the sky cruising over the city, mostly away from the military base, which, again, leads me to believe that it's some kind of anti-missile system that launched. But there were a couple going toward the military base. And there was also, by the way, an alert that went out from the U.S. Embassy here in Qatar today, telling all American citizens to shelter in place here. So there was obviously some kind of indication that something was going to go down tonight, and it seems like that is happening right now.
As we take this live look there at Doha, Qatar, it is obviously nighttime there. Right now, we can't see anything in the sky, but again, reports of 6 missiles launched near Doha, Qatar. That also happens to be where there is a U.S. air base. So our Brian Inton is on the ground monitoring everything there for us, Brian. We will check back with you. We're going to go now to Robert Sherman, who is live for us in Tel Aviv. Robert, are you hearing anything there?
Yeah, I mean, this has certainly been a rumbling that has been ongoing over the last couple of hours. And as Brian pointed out, there was a news that came down from the Qatari Foreign Ministry's office just a short while ago that they were shutting down the airspace there. You look at the geography of the region to see Qatar alone shutting down its airspace, while the Persian Gulf and the peninsula is rather removed from what we're seeing over here in this region. You've seen Jordan at times shutting down its airspace in the past, but to see Qatar make this move is certainly out of place. That was an eyebrow raiser there. But then, of course, you look at the amount of U.S. troops that are in Qatar, and that is a major operation that the United States has there. And it's not just Qatar. You look at that entire region as well. Bahrain, I mean, that's where the United States Navy's 5th Fleet puts out from as well. This was something that we had been hearing these rumblings of, but you also heard Iran saying today that there would be some form of retaliation for the strikes that the United States carried out. We have not heard Tehran come out yet and take responsibility for any of these actions here, but you have been watching this slow build today day of all of this tension with the Israelis giving evacuation orders in Tehran for more strikes to be coming there, the tough rhetoric between Washington and Tehran, and then to see all of this movement here first from the U.S. Embassy in Qatar telling people to shelter in place, and then seeing this announcement about the airspace being shut down. There has been a driving point up to this here. Nicole.
All right, and again, reports of at least 6 missiles launched over Qatar. Right now, has been no immediate acknowledgement from Qatari authorities of any attack. So we do continue to monitor that to see if Iran has, in fact, begun retaliating. We will take a quick break. Our coverage will continue.
Let's get right to the Pentagon. Jennifer Griffin, you've got some new information?
Well, Sandra, I think it's pretty clear at this point that the U.S. intelligence and the intelligence that was shared with the United States and with the Pentagon indicated that this strike was likely, and even the timing of the strike. I think it's no coincidence that the Defense Secretary and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs were in the Situation Room when this began. They've been monitoring it. They've been monitoring the air interception as well as whether any U.S. personnel have been injured or killed, which we can report none have. The statement from Qatar, I think, is significant in saying that we reassure everyone that Qatar's air defenses successfully thwarted the attack and intercepted the Iranian missiles. And, quote, we can confirm that no injuries or human casualties resulted.
Want to get rid of illegal immigrants? Quit eating.
Keith Smith says most immigration workers left after the law took effect, so this potato farmer hired Americans. Problem is, he says, most show up late, work slower, and are ready to head home after lunch. Some even quit after just one day out in the field.
These are alarm bells ringing for the entire United States, and our government is not listening. Overnight, multiple farms in the state of Texas completely shut down. And the reason for this shutdown was because they have lost almost 100% of their workforce. Now, we know this is the result of the immigration raids and stricter enforcement, but the ripple effect is going to be felt all the way across this country. Now, you've got crops that are rotting in the fields. You have livestock that is not being attended to at all. And that takes a lot of personnel. And we're talking, so now we're getting every area of food to include meat. And the communities that surround these farms, those businesses and those people who depend on the income from these farms, it's creating disasters for small communities in Texas. Now, this is not stopping at Texas farms. This is going to end up all the way across America, especially in the breadbasket, the middle of the nation, because they have tons of immigrant help. But folks, the alarm bells are ringing. Your food on your plate is being affected. So you got to think about it. It won't be soon until either prices go ridiculously high, or you just won't have any food to buy.
Want to get rid of illegal immigrants? Quit eating. And that's for everybody. That's, nationwide. If you want to get rid of them, quit eating. That'll solve the problem.
But when only 5 pickers showed up this morning to harvest his sweet potatoes, farmer Keith Smith saw possible ruin, the loss of his $500,000 crop.
They're running scared because of this new law.
And you're in trouble.
I'm in trouble, bad trouble.
Smith's 200 acres need 20 pickers, mostly Mexican nationals.
There is not enough documented people here to supply that workforce.
Most of your workers are here illegally.
Sure, if they got documentation, they got a better job working for me.
Fernando Aldaman, a Mexican national, has worked Smith's farm since 1992. Everybody's just scared.
Yeah.
Now, are you here legally? No.
No.
So, are you scared?
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared, you know.
Smith's pickers make about $100 a day. He supports immigration laws, just not this one that threatens his third-generation family.
You should ask about me.
You mean to tell me the farms in Texas are closing?
What if every immigrant suddenly left the United States? That's 45 million people. 13% of the entire population gone overnight. Sounds dramatic? It gets worse. The hospitality industry collapsed. Your local grocery store? Shelves empty. Because over 70% of America's farm workers are immigrants. Need a doctor? Good luck. More than 25% of our physicians and 15% of our nurses come from abroad. That's millions of patients suddenly without care. Silicon Valley, a ghost town. Over 70% of tech workers are immigrants. The apps you use, the websites you love, the innovations you depend on, gone. Construction, frozen. 1 in 3 workers building America came here from somewhere else. Meanwhile, our population is aging and our workforce shrinking. Without immigration, the system breaks. Immigrants aren't just part of the U.S. They keep it running. So, could America survive without them?
ICE agents are currently conducting raids on multiple tomato farms.
Farms in deep red Texas are shut down, and Donald Trump is the reason. Now, as you know, Donald Trump has shifted ICE from focusing on criminal immigrants to going after easier targets such as job sites to pump his numbers up. But farms are hurting because of this, as many of their workers are either being deported or not showing up for fear of being caught up in these raids. And because of this, they're essentially shut down and no work can be done. Just take a listen to one farmer.
3 weeks, it started to slow, but this last week or so has been huge. That's when it's like 0 people wanting to come out. And
yeah, 0 people. 0 people going to work the farms. And while, yes, these farmers are in the find out phase, we're all going to be in it. Because they're talking that our food supply is going to be shut down or have major interruptions. And it's not just Texas. It's California and Washington. We are finding out that, yes, immigrants do help the American economy. Immigrants are part of the American fabric. We just didn't realize it till it was too late.
I don't know, y'all. Since ICE came and got everybody, I surely don't see these houses getting done. I surely don't see no Mexicans out here. Where they at? Work field looking kind of empty. All these Americans about to be pissed.
And my question is this. If all of the migrant workers are deported, would you, your family, or any of your friends sign up to take their jobs?
So my wife